All right. Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Of course, it depends on what time you're watching this, and I hope that you're watching it live, Facebook, or either pre-recorded on YouTube. And if you are on YouTube, we definitely want you to subscribe so that you can keep up with all these various teachings. We're doing Time to Tell the Truth. That's what time it is. It's time to tell the truth. If you remember the show back in the day when they called it To Tell the Truth, yeah. Some of y'all don't remember that. You're too young, but that tells you how old I am, right? But that's what we're trying to do because it's time to educate ourselves regarding our health, regarding our wealth, regarding moving forward into our lives, and not depending on just what we hear at the doctor's office. My name is Dr. Roz. Everybody calls me Dr. Roz. My full name is Dr. Rosalind Shaw Belt. And I am the CEO of Dream to Life Productions Ministry, LLC, and Incorporated. I'm a wife, I am a musician, and a bunch of other stuff. But let me tell you what's really important right here. I am a certified wellness coach. No, I'm not a medical doctor, but I have some credentials to back it up. Yes, certified entrepreneur and lifestyle consultant, as well as a certified wellness coach with what we call the Flat Belly Lifestyle 2.0. Taught and learned so much from Dr. Eric Prince, naturopathic doctor, and those that work with this particular group. So today our topic is sugar, sugar, where are you? This is part 4. Oh my God. I can't get enough of this, guys. I don't know when we're going to stop. Well, I know we're going to have a part 5 because I don't even know if I'm going to get through all of this today because I try to keep this within a certain time period. But let's get going. This is part 4. If you hadn't heard part 1, 2, and 3, I'm telling you, you got to go back and listen to it. But let's get going.
You say, Rochelle, it be calling me. The sugar be calling me.
Cravings are not the issue, it's what you crave for. And when you think about sugar and the amount of sugar that we're craving today, on average, the average American is craving 152 pounds of sugar every year. Now, when you think about sugar, you think diabetes, okay? But diabetes isn't the only issue around sugar consumption, all right? When you think sugar consumption at a tune of 152 pounds every year, sugar is not only correlated with diabetes, but it's also associated with hypertension. It's also associated with immune system suppression as well, too. So it can literally paralyze your immune system. It's also associated with obesity. It's associated with a fatty liver. It's associated with tooth decay and bone, degradation and gum disease. It's also associated with an unhealthy gut as well too. And it's also associated with skin issues. So if you're having skin issues, joint pain, muscle pain, fatigue, overeating, all of these things are correlated to your sugar consumption. And here's the kicker. Of that 152 pounds of sugar that the average American is consuming every year, you don't need any of it. Zero nutritionally. Absolutely zero. All right. And the sugar that I'm talking about is not the sugar that is inside of a plant. I'm talking about the sugar that they pull out of the plant. Okay. 70% of the standard American diet is processed food. The vast majority of that processed food is loaded with sugar. And they're increasing it bit by bit. And they do that because they understand the more you consume, the more you're addicted. They don't want you to be addicted to sugar. They want you to be addicted to their products. Okay? And that's why they're steadily increasing it every year. Okay? And so we got to wake up and we got to do better.
That's what we got to do, guys. We got to wake up. We got to do better. She said, they're calling me. Anybody ever heard that voice in the middle of the night? Wake you up and tell you to go to the refrigerator? Heard that voice first thing in the morning? I gotta have it.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up. Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backwards thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. There's so much hatred, war and poverty. Wake up all the teachers, time to teach a new way.
That's what we got to do, guys. We got to wake up. And there's so many things going on in our lives right now that we need to wake up. So let's get moving.
The first thing you can do, first and foremost, stop eating sugar. Okay? You see this big domino? Stop eating sugar, guys. Listen, the more sugar you eat, the more you want. Right? So you have to stop the bleeding. Like you got to cut it. Stop it. The more you eat, the more you want. Like sugar begets sugar, right? So that's the first thing. Like that coffee, right? That coffee in the morning. Like you can't, you got to stop. Maybe you need to stop drinking the coffee because you're putting the sugar in it. And you say, Rochelle, I don't do sugar, I do honey. The body doesn't know the difference, okay? It's sugar. It's getting the sweet. It's getting this fix, right? So sugar, right? Guys, you know, sugar is more addictive than cocaine. That's what they say. I mean, there have been studies to show that, just say like a lab rat. I know we're not rats, we're not animals, but listen to me. There are actual experiments that show a rat who has the option that say that's maybe previously addicted to cocaine. I'll just say cocaine, okay? And they have the option to take, you know, cocaine or take sugar, cocaine or sugar. And they were already previously addicted to cocaine. Guess what they go to? They go to the sugar, right? So they say sugar is more addictive than cocaine, guys. It's serious business, okay? So listen, I need you to listen closely. I'm talking about 3 things you can do to stop your cravings for sugar. And you may be thinking, well, what's the big deal? What's the big deal if I eat a lot of sugar? Guys, sugar is, listen, too much sugar is a bad thing. It can wreak havoc in the body. Inflammation, right? Elevated blood sugars can lead to diabetes, can lead to high cholesterol, right? Can lead to high blood pressure. It can lead to cancer, right? Look, glaucoma, dementia, Alzheimer's. Come on, I'm telling you, sugar, too much sugar is a bad thing. So what we're talking about here is 3 things you can do to stop the sugar cravings, right? So I said, number 1, stop eating the sugar. Stop it. Stop.
I love this lady here. She just say, stop it. Now, she didn't say you couldn't have the coffee. I saw your face, but it's the sugar in the coffee. But let me talk. Here's what I want to share with you, because sometimes there are hindrances. I know. See, you watch this and you listen to this and you say, but it's difficult. Well, guess what? It is, because we've been doing it 20, 30, 40 years. So one of the hindrances, and I want to touch on these things while we're listening to these experts, one of the hindrances to eliminating sugar is the craving. Sugar cravings are real. They wake you up in the middle of the night and tell you got to have your ice cream. Or they demand that you have a certain thing every single day. They tell you which aisle to go down, because those cravings trigger dopamine, which is that feel-good hormone. Don't you feel good when you have it? That particular thing that you are addicted to? Yeah, it makes you feel good, like having a drug. But how do you beat it? See, here's my challenge, and here's what I impress upon you to do. Start gradual reduction, and then replace it with natural sweeteners, fruits and cinnamon and dates. Don't knock it until you try it. And then drink water when the cravings hit. Sometimes you're just dehydrated. Okay,
number 2. So here's a principle you can follow. Let's crowd out the bad stuff by eating the good stuff, right? So you gotta push it out by eating the good stuff. You say, Rochelle, what's the good stuff? Vegetables. Let's eat more vegetables. What I got here? Broccoli. I got some bell pepper. Right, any leafy greens, okay? I'm talking bok choy, spinach, kale. You know, any type of leafy green is good. Okay, we even talking about Brussels sprouts, right? Or you can even do asparagus. You know, all those are good. Cabbage, right? All those are good. Okay, eat more vegetables. A nice green salad is a good thing. A nice garden salad. More vegetables, right? That will help stop that craving for the sugar. Okay, so we said stop eating sugar. Stop eating sugar. Eat more vegetables. Okay, these are things that can stop your cravings. Okay, and you know what? We do this on the Fruit and Veggie Challenge. Come through. Come through 7-day fruit and veggie challenge if you don't know about it.
So when we understand this thing about vegetables, and I wanted to break this down, but before I do, let's talk about another hindrance. Because I always want to deal with the struggles that we have. Another hindrance is that there are hidden sugars everywhere. Because when we do this kind of teaching, people start saying, well, what the heck can I eat, right? Because everything seems to have sugar. But just let's focus on certain things. Packaged foods. When you go down all the aisles, that's where we should not be shopping. We should shop on the outskirts of the grocery store. The packaged foods often contain sugar. And I told you on last week, all those different names that end in what? O-S-E, OS, glucose, sucrose. So look at the label carefully and then do your best to choose whole foods as often as possible. Dr. Bobby Price says, choose a food that has one word, that are whole names, that only has one ingredient. You know, an apple has one ingredient, broccoli has one ingredient, but the stuff in the store with the boxes and the labels and the cans, multiple ingredients. So let's look at the vegetables. Look, you may need to do a screenshot of this. I'm telling you, look at the amount of sugar in the vegetable. Very little. Spinach, artichokes, lettuce, asparagus. She just mentioned those. Broccoli, potatoes, mashed, homemade, not with all the extra butter and all that. I got you. See, now y'all going off the deep end now. You're going down a rabbit hole, as she says. The cucumber, the Brussels sprouts, the celery, the tomatoes, the cabbage, the green capsicum. What's that? Bell peppers, right? The green ones, the carrots, the red ones. You know, it wasn't too long ago that I found out that if you keep the green, the better ones is the red, the yellow, and the orange, because somebody was gardening and they kept the green ones on the vine and they began to turn red and the other colors. That's because they're riper than the greens. The greens are being pulled prematurely. So really the colors are better for you. The onions, the chickpeas, look at that, only 4.8 grams of sugar. This is stuff that's not expensive, guys. So don't tell me it costs a whole lot of money to eat right. No, to get rid of this sugar. Green peas, sweet potatoes, beetroots, canned pumpkins, shiitake mushrooms, turnips, summer squash, red cabbage. Come on, you gotta like some of this. We got kids and teenagers today that come up and they don't even know what these vegetables are because they're being raised by young people, you know, and they're not giving them any vegetables.
Here's one. You say, Rochelle, what? Yes, I gotta say it. Drink more water. Because we don't drink enough, okay? We do not drink enough. I say, how much water are you drinking? Oh, Rochelle, I drink a lot of water. Well, how much? Tell me how much. Well, I probably drink about 4 bottles a day. You know, so 4 of these is about 68 ounces, and that's great, okay, if you weigh about 136 pounds. And I'm thinking most of us probably weigh more than that, okay? So we should be drinking at least half of our body weight in ounces, at least half. And guess what? That's with a sedentary lifestyle. So if you're exercising, if you're releasing more water, right, doing perspiration, then you need to take in more than half your body weight, okay? And also, if you're eating, drinking things that are maybe a diuretic, you know, caffeinated drinks, right? Come through, caffeinated drinks, then that's pulling water from you, so you need to replace more, right? So at least half your body weight in ounces on a sedentary lifestyle, guys, on a sedentary lifestyle. So drink more water.
Drink more water, drink more water. Confess. Confession is good for the soul. So I want you to put in the chat, if you're that person, you know you don't drink enough water, I need you to confess and speak out to heal yourself, because when you speak it into existence, it begins to manifest. So I need to drink more water. Come on, put it in the chat. Let me know I need to drink more water. Now, I want to cover why you're struggling with drinking more water. Because people have a difficult time. People say they just don't feel thirsty, so they don't want to drink any water because they don't realize that their body's made up of water, right? The body's thirst signals can even weaken over time, especially with age. So the older you get, if you haven't been a water drinker, You don't desire water. You understand? You didn't create your body and do the things that are necessary for you to even have a desire for the water, but you should drink it anyway. People sometimes mistake thirst for hunger, and they ignore those subtle signs like a dry mouth or fatigue. Sometimes you're not hungry. You're thirsty. Have you ever been hungry and just went and drank some water and all of a sudden you felt kind of full? What's the second reason why people struggle? They struggle because they're busy. They're busy. It's a fast-paced day. And it's easier to forget to drink unless it's tied to a routine. That's why they have those apps out there that'll tell you ring on your phone when it's time for you to drink some water so you can get it in. And water gets pushed aside because we'll grab a Coke or a soda or some coffee or just do nothing. Why else do we have a difficult time drinking water? Because you don't like the taste. I hear people say that all the time. I just don't like the taste of water. Because some people say water's boring. Or some people say it has a weird taste, especially some of our water that comes out the tap these days. So then what do? They grab a flavored drink instead and just claim that as their water when it's not. Number 4, they don't track it. See, that's why you got to have something that's going to track it. You got to have those bottles set aside, 16-ounce bottles that you can know how many of them you need to drink, 32-ounce bottles. Get that big one, sit it there with you all day long. Without measuring, it's hard to know how much or how little you're drinking. So people think they drink enough, but they fall way short of what, did she say, half the weight of your body? And how dare her say that all of us were over 135 pounds? How dare her? And number 5, they're drinking the wrong things. Drinking the wrong things regularly instead of water, caffeine, soda, alcohol. These dehydrate the body rather than to hydrate the body. And so what happens? They're actually losing more water than they're taking in. And number 6, fear of constant bathroom trips. That's so quickly to be our excuse. I'm not drinking no water because it makes me go to the bathroom. Of course it does. That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to flush out your body. But we're talking about our health, especially when you're on a job. I get it. Without easy access to the restroom or the long commutes. And so people intentionally drink less to avoid the inconvenience. I understand. But it's still not helping you. Number 7, they don't know how much they need. That old 8 glasses a day rule, that doesn't work for everybody. You got to have a target and make it a priority. So here's some tips to make hydration easier. Flavor your water. Okay, you don't like the taste of water? It's bland to you? Put some fruit in it. Put some herbs in it. Put some cucumbers in it. You do it yourself. No, not just what you get from the grocery store on the shelf and they say it's flavored water, because it's flavored, it may have some other kind of flavors. It's not pure. It's not fresh from the fruit. So make your own. Like they do when I go to hotels and they got cucumber water right there, or they have orange water. So flavor it. Lemon in your water. Use a marked water bottle with time goals. Drink a full glass right when you wake up in the morning, and then drink a glass with every meal. They do it when you go to the restaurant. They bring you, would you like some water? Some of y'all say no. Give me some tea. Give me this. Give me that. No, get your water. And set your reminders. Put it on your app. Get a hydration app. That's what I was just talking about. The app that lets you know it's time to drink some water. Or set your alarms in your phone to go off ever so often to let you know it's time to drink some water. And then eat water-rich foods. Foods that have water. That's what Dr. Price says. He said that's the best water to have, is the water that comes from a fruit like a cucumber or an orange or a watermelon. And then make water part of a habit. Guys, this is your body. God made our body, and part of our body, the majority of our body is what? Water. So make water part of a habit, like drinking during calls or while working out.
Number 1 thing you need to do first is identify and eliminate any and all temptations. All right? That's important for any addiction that you're trying to get over, whether it's you being addicted to sugar, or you being addicted to toxic people or toxic conversations or whatever it may be, you have to identify what those temptations are and you have to eliminate what they are. Okay? In the case of sugar, if you are looking at where the temptation starts, it starts first with what you buy. It starts before that with what you have already purchased. So you need to go in your cabinets, your refrigerator, your freezer, look for all of the things that you've been consuming that have been keeping you addicted and eliminate them. Get you a trash bag, put them in the trash bag. So identify and eliminate all temptations, all right? This is a step you cannot cross over. Most of you are going to want to say to yourself, well, I already paid my good money for this, okay? If you pay good money for something that is taking away your health, it wasn't a good buy, all right? And then some of you are going to say, well, when this 10 days is over, I want to eat this, all right? Okay, so you're getting yourself right back into the cycle, all right? So this is why I'm saying you have to identify and eliminate, hugely important.
He was talking about 10 days because he was challenging people to go 10 days without sugar. He was telling people to go into their refrigerator, go into their cabinets and everything and get all of it out, look on the labels and see how many grams it is, the things that have the, tons and tons of sugar. And because most of us, it's not about what you do one time, it's what you do most of the time. So there's power in identifying the real problem. See, sometimes we can just fool ourselves. We can just sit here, I'm not addicted. Oh, but you get a headache when you don't have it. I'm not, we talked about this a few weeks ago, all the signs to let you know if you are an addict. And some of us who are here with me all the time had to confess, yes, I am an addict. I have some certain foods, and I'm not talking about the candy bar, if that's it. See, we so quick to go to the sweets, but there's some other things that are full of sugar that we can't go without. We've got to have it on a daily basis. Anything you can't go without is just like you are addicted to a drug. So identify the problem, because when you identify the problem, it then gives you clarity to create focus. Why does that matter? Because now you stop guessing and you start directing your energy where it counts. When you identify the problem, it saves you time and energy, because fixing the wrong thing over and over, that's exhausting. Some of us do that at the doctor's office. They're working on the wrong thing. They're not going to the source of the problem. I shared something with someone on yesterday. When you go to your car, if you got in your car this evening and the check engine light is on, and then you go, you know that there's something wrong, right? Everybody knows that. But if you go underneath there and disconnect the light, the check engine light goes off. But the problem is still there. So we've got to identify that, yes, I have a problem, because then it breaks the cycle. And why does that matter? Because when you know the root cause, you can interrupt the patterns for your good. You can take real ownership. I need you to own this. I don't care if it feels good. I need you to own it. Because naming the source puts you back in control. And we can't blame mama. We can't blame daddy. We can't blame nobody in the attic. We got to blame ourselves. Because it leads to better, long-lasting solutions. And why does that matter? Because we're going to treat the root, not the symptom. So another hindrance to eliminating sugar, because I'm not the first to say to you, well, I'm gonna be the first to say to you, it's not always easy. I'm never saying it's an easy thing to do, but I'm saying we got to do it. Because social pressure sometimes says, just one slice, you can just have one slice. Your own family would do that to you. Peer pressure is real. The peer pressure you get from watching that commercial on TV. But set those boundaries and politely say, no thanks. I feel better when I skip sugar. I mean, make them have to wonder what's going on with you. Bring your own healthy treat to the gatherings so that you're not influenced, so that you're not tempted. So you can sing, yield not to temptation, for yielding is sin. You can sing that song, right? But by bringing your own treats. They got cookies and cakes and everything. Bring your own stuff with you in your own bag.
Eat fermented foods. Fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut. The reason why that's important is because it's going to feed the probiotics or the good bacteria in your gut. Okay? The more they grow and the stronger the good bacteria in your gut becomes, the cravings for healthier foods will become louder over the cravings for unhealthy foods, okay? Because the more your good bacteria grows, it will start to kick out those bad bacteria that we'll talk about in a second that's actually causing you to have those bad cravings, all right?
So do you realize that you have some good bacteria and some bad bacteria? And many of the foods that we eat, we're just full of the bad bacteria. So he talked about fermented foods, so low sugar fermented foods, and why they're important to maintaining good gut health. Oh my God, the gut is the problem. And it just amplified during COVID. Fermenting process doesn't just preserve your food, it enhances its nutritional profile by fostering the growth of beneficial bacteria. So fermenting foods contains a multitude of friendly bacteria, aka probiotics. Some of you may be taking probiotics, or maybe you need to start taking probiotics for your body to thrive. And then they also add a wonderful tangy flavor that can take a dish from just okay to wowza, that's good. Add some kraut to your salads, or mix some coconut yogurt or Greek yogurt if you tolerate dairy into your smoothies or your oats. He talked about kimchi. Kimchi, that's a Korean delight. Some of you may know about it, may never heard about it. Check it out. Sauerkraut. My mama used to fix that sauerkraut. I never liked it as a child. Never liked it as a child because it was sour. That vinegar soaked thing, that feel, that taste, but it's bursting with healthy bacteria. It'll be in the refrigerated section. Shelf-stable sauerkraut does not contain live active cultures. Number 3, real fermented pickles. Same as sauerkraut, shelf-stable pickles do not contain live active cultures. Now, forget the shelf-stable vinegar types. But true lacto-fermented pickles are where the probiotics thrive. Then you've got lactic acid, fermented veggies. Any veggies fermented through this process, they're tangy, they're tasty, and they're teeming with gut-friendly bacteria. Raw, unpasteurized apple cider vinegar. A spoonful can add zest to a salad and aid digestions. Now, let me make a note when we talk about this apple cider vinegar, because one of my previous series, we talked about how Bill Gates is buying up all this farmland to grow apples that are processed without a seed. And he's starting to work in collaboration with an apple cider vinegar company so they can start producing processed apple cider vinegar. Because why do I say it's processed? Because it's got apples with no seed. God grew it with the seed. So they're trying to deviate and change everything that's natural. So we have to still be careful and definitely read the label. Then we got kefir, which is coconut-based or traditional milk kefir, fermented beverage. It's a probiotic powerhouse. Some of you may have never heard any of these things, but now you need to do your research. Now you need to find out these are things that are good for us. Homemade coconut yogurt, dairy-free and delightful. This yogurt is simple to make and satisfyingly tangy. And last, kombucha. Kombucha, you can get that anywhere. You can get that at Walmart. You can get that in most of the grocery stores. This fermented tea, you know it's strong because as soon as you pop that cap, turn that cap, and just the pressure that's in that bottle, absolutely amazing. And they have so many different flavors. It's fantastic. So let's not be hindered. But you know what? One of the hindrances to eliminating sugar is that the crash. Anybody ever experienced that blood sugar crash? When it happens, you get a sugar spike, and then it causes a crash. And that leads to more cravings. So how do you beat it? You eat a balanced meal, protein, healthy fats, and fiber, and avoid skipping your meals. That triggers sugar cravings as well.
Manage stress. All right. Now, I know you always hear me say this, but just important to understand that as you are sort of in a chronic stressful state, cortisol levels go up. The more your cortisol levels go up, the more you'll have fluctuations in your blood glucose or your blood sugar. All right. The more they fluctuate, meaning spike and then drop, that's when you're going to have the cravings. Okay. So you want to manage your stress properly.
Gotta manage your stress. Look, nobody's that important. Do you hear what I'm saying? Whatever you're going through with people, place, things, whoever they are, even if it's the folk laying next to you in the bed. There's a connection between stress and sugar. Stress triggers sugar cravings. You get stressed and you go grab something that's got a lot of sugar in it. Sugar provides temporary relief. And then chronic stress equals chronic sugar use. Sugar adds to your stress. So here, I'm going to challenge you to break the stress sugar cycle. If you're on a stressful job, if you're in a stressful relationship, if you got stressful friends, whatever it is, recognize the trigger. When the stress hits, recognize, am I hungry or am I just stressed? Am I hungry or am I tired? Am I hungry or am I just anxious? So then, you know, one of the things was go get some water instead of go get the sugar. Replace the ritual. Because we do the same thing over and over again. Instead of reaching for a candy bar or a soda, try reaching for herbal tea or deep breathing exercise or stretching or going for a short walk and listening to some music. Try something else. Your body. Fuel your body wisely. Eat balanced meals with protein, fiber, healthy fats to stabilize your blood sugar. Keep healthy, naturally sweet snacks nearby, fruits and dates and nut butters. And maybe you're sitting here listening to this and you say, but I don't have a sugar problem. Well, see, the thing about this is to start doing these things now before you get a sugar problem, if you don't have one. It's so, depressing almost to hear all the people that are dying. All the people that are dying that don't have to die right now. They don't have to be in a wheelchair. They don't have to be with Alzheimer's and dementia. They don't have to be dealing with it. If they knew some of this information, you don't have to wait till you get the diagnosis to begin to do something about it. Manage your stress at the root. Practice mindfulness, gratitude, meditation, prayer, prioritize sleep. It massively affects your cravings and your mood. Talk it out. Don't hold it in. Find somebody you can talk it out, yell it out. They got places where you can go and throw things. But stress held in the body, it's going to always find a way to come out. Another thing that hinders us from eliminating sugar is being misinformed. We're destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Misinformation and marketing, because it'll say low fat, it'll say healthy, but it often means high in sugar. So you got to educate yourself on just what that low fat means, because listen, they find those loopholes to be able to call it low fat just by decreasing it by a half a point. And still there's some in there. So not all these health claims are true. Focus on the ingredients, not just the calories or the label only, the ingredients. Another hindrance is withdrawal symptoms. The body reacts when sugar intake drops suddenly. So you can beat it by being patient. The symptoms will pass in a few days to weeks. Rest, hydrate, and get enough sleep. That's when you're deciding to go without the sugar. Your body's going to respond. And that's a telltale sign. It's just like when you're detoxing. Those toxins say, no, I don't want to go. I've been living here for 30 years. This is my house. And I live here.
Number 4, bitters. Okay? That's the taste bud no one likes to use. Everybody likes salty, creamy, sugary, etc. All right? But nobody likes that bitter taste bud in the back of the room. Everybody wants to avoid that one. Okay? But that is the one that is not only going to make you healthier, but that is also the one that's going to curb the sugar cravings as well too. Hugely important. So incorporating bitter herbs, incorporating bitter, teas, incorporating bitter green leafy vegetables like dandelion leaf. Okay? those things are going to be very helpful as well too. All right.
Bitters. Now, listen, whoever invited you to look at this video, whoever sent this video to it, hit them up and ask them, do they know anything about bitters? I'm a certified wellness coach, and it might have been a coach that even sent this to you about this information because they're concerned about you. They love you. So bitters, we have a bitters tea, and hit me up if I'm the one that needed to send it to you, or whoever it was that loved you enough to show you this information, because here's how it works. It boosts digestion by stimulating the production of digestive enzymes, bile, and stomach acid. It regulates your appetite, helps to reduce your cravings for unhealthy foods. It helps to support liver detoxification by filtering out toxins from the blood. It eliminates fat-soluble toxins through the digestive system. It alkalizes the body and reduces inflammation. It improves the microbiome, that's the gut, by promoting the growth of a beneficial bacteria and inhibiting harmful bacteria. And depending on your goals, you can even do a 7 or 21-day raw cleanse. But bitters is a powerful tool for a quick 4-day detox. Ask somebody about the bitters, all right? You want to do that because it's very easy to do. You still can eat food while you're doing it. You want to eat a protein, a protein diet, a small protein diet, but you just boil 40 ounces of water and drop the tea bag in there, let it steep overnight, at least 8 hours, and then put it in the refrigerator and then consume 8 ounces every day. Or you can do 4 ounces twice daily. I suggest you do 8 ounces a day because it's pretty nasty. I'm just telling you, I'm real. It's nasty, but it gets the point. It gets the job done. And we'll show you, a meal plan and everything.
Find healthy replacements. All right. Find your healthy replacements. My examples for my healthy replacements when, people say like, well, what do you eat for sweets? Fruits. That's a whole rainbow. All right. And of course, you guys know I own a fruit company. So of course, tropical fruit, number 1. Number 2, smoothies. All right. So that's my replacement as well too. And then 3, dates. Okay. All right. Dates are perfect. Like if you just want a little quick something, dates are perfect. All right. And then the 4th thing is I make my own ice cream out of bananas typically, but you can make your own ice cream out of fruit. Okay. So I'll make my own ice cream. That's another way that I could get, my sort of taste of sweet as well too, in a very healthy way. All right. But it's 100% natural fruit, maybe a little bit of coconut milk, but that's it. All right. Maybe I add some dates, but as you can see, all whole things. All right. Hugely important, but you got to find replacements because when you do get the cravings, you can still give yourself something sweet. But in the case of a date, you don't have to worry about feeding the wrong thing. Because if you feed the wrong thing, if you feed the things that make the cravings grow louder, you got more of a problem.
If you're a person that lives here in Houston, there's a place called Sinful Bakery. Sinful Bakery. Their chocolate chip cookies, their oatmeal raisin cookies are fabulous. And none of them have sugar in it. They use dates. And you would not know that. But there are a lot of healthy replacements. There are other ways to do this. With stevia, is derived from the stevia plant. That's a natural calorie-free sweetener that's very sweet. Monk fruit, from the monk fruit tree. Maple syrup, a natural sweetener made from the sap of maple trees. Adds a lot of flavor. I made some brownies using maple syrup, and you did not know that you were not using white sugar. Honey is natural sweetener. Contains antioxidants and minerals. Now, it's still pretty high in calories and sugar, so it's best to use it in moderation. And then xylitol, a sugar alcohol that is sweet as sugar, but with fewer calories and may have some dental benefits. Here's some other ones. Erythritol, another sugar alcohol that's low in calories. Applesauce, a natural sweetener, not the one on the you go to the grocery store and pull it, and they've added all the other sweeteners to it. Dates, a natural sweetener that adds that caramel-like flavor, and it's packed with nutrients. And yacon syrup, a syrup extracted from the yacon plant. If you notice, all of this is coming from a plant.
You got to cut out breads, white flour. You got to cut them out because they turn into sugar in our bodies. Okay, the same way French fries will turn into sugar in our bodies. Okay, so most processed foods are littered with sugar. So you got to get rid of processed foods. So you got to cut out the white flour. You got to cut out the breads. You got to cut out the processed foods. Okay, I'm giving you a 10-day challenge, just 10 days. All right, cut it out for 10 days. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. Okay, the challenge is out there. If you're that person, you know you're an addict. I'm just saying, you know you're an addict. You gotta cut it out. Cut it out. We just were looking at the Ezekiel bread. That was one of the breads that's made totally different. And my husband said, "Well, this is good." So listen, there are ways to do this thing, but you gotta just try it. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't say you don't like it if you've never tried it.
Don't drink your sugar. All right. People forget about that sugar, the sugar that's inside of the drink that you're drinking. But that's liquid sugar. It's even worse than all of the other sugars. Okay. Because it's already liquefied. It goes directly into the blood, directly to the liver. All right. So don't drink any sugar. The only sweet thing I would recommend is natural, fresh coconut water. All right. So if you want something different, of course, you can do a green juice, you could do a tea, but if you want something sweet, for me, coconut water is sweet. Not everybody likes coconut water. I can live on coconut water, okay? But don't drink your sugar, all right?
Don't drink your sugar. Listen, let's talk about this for a minute, because this is an area where many of us have our weakness. This is, I've known people that drink multiple cans of Coke per day. And they don't realize just in that 12-ounce can, which you can't hardly find anymore, everything is more than 12 ounces. There's the 16 ounce, there's the 20 ounce, and then there's the liter. But look at this, the 12-ounce can, like we used to have back in the day, and some of us did 3 or 4 a day, 39 grams of sugar. Remember, we saw last week before last how Rochelle was putting the teaspoons in the can, showing us how much that is, 10 teaspoons. So whatever that thing is that you really like, divided by 4, however many grams it is. Pepsi's 40 grams, orange soda 49 grams. Sports drink, watch this. All the athletes are using it. Why are they dropping with heart attacks? Why is this happening in their lives? And they're so healthy. How many sports drinks do they get every time they get off the court, every time they get off the field, and somebody brings them, some trainer brings them that jug and they swig, and they're getting 20 grams of sugar for a 12-ounce serving. 100% fruit juice. Oh, I'm doing good because I'm just drinking grapefruit juice. Oh, I'm doing good because I'm drinking apple juice. Orange juice. 20 to 26 grams of sugar per 12-ounce serving. Energy drinks, 54 grams of sugar. Move over, Gatorade. Sweetened tea. I told y'all I had to confess, I'm that person that would order sweet tea and add sugar to it. I was killing myself. 7 teaspoons of sugar. Fruit juice. And some of you say, okay, well, that's just 7 teaspoons. Well, that's just 10 teaspoons. But how many times do you do it in one day? Well, I'm going to show you in a minute how many we're supposed to have in a day. Mountain Dew, Lord have mercy, 77 grams of sugar. Red Bull, oh my God, 27 grams of sugar. Minute Maid lemonade, 67 grams of sugar. Gatorade, there it is, 34 grams of sugar. It's no reason why athletes are dying of heart attacks.
This Medical Minute sponsored by Avera.
How much sugar is in your drinks? Doctors say it may be more than you think, and it could be harmful to your health.
KSFY News reporter Michaela Feldman explains how sugary beverages can increase your risk of cardiovascular death.
If you are getting the most of your calories from what you're drinking, you're getting your calories the wrong way.
Many people don't always think about what we're putting into our bodies. That includes what we drink. And whether or not a beverage has a sweetener or actual sugar, your risk of cardiovascular disease is increased.
In the case of sugary beverages, that there is an insulin response that tells your body to store fat. In the case of sweeteners, artificial sweeteners, we think there may be some kind of an impact on your gut health, but there also may be some kind of an insulin response that we're not detecting.
Dr. McKay says those drinks are full of calories and not a lot of nutrition, which often leads to weight gain.
And once you start digging into how many sugars are in each of these particular items, you start being a little bit shocked about not realizing what you were ingesting.
So how much sugar is in what you drink? We took 10 different beverages and measured the amount of sugar cubes that are in the can. Then we compared that to what your daily recommended amount should be. Women should consume no more than 6 cubes, while men should have no more than 9. But most drinks have more than that.
I think people would be shocked to find out there's quite a bit of sugar in the vitamin water.
7 of the 10 drinks all have more sugar cubes than the recommended amount for both men and women. Mountain Dew had the most, with 19 cubes of sugar in one 20-ounce drink.
It's making you more insulin resistant. So it's impacting your body's ability to deal with sugars in general. And over time, what that can do is lead to insulin resistance, diabetes, some of those types of things.
But ending up with a disease like that can be confusing. That's where Avera Health Plan's heart disease care management team comes in.
We're actually an additional layer of support between the member and the provider. You know, they lean on us and we, walk them through the journey of their health. It basically does increase the quality of care that we do deliver, and also it contains the costs.
Knowing is half the battle, and then sort of executing on how you're going to make your life different might be a little bit more of the challenge.
With your Avera Medical Minute, I'm Michaela Feldman, KSFY News.
Dr. McKay says you should look at how many calories and carbohydrates are in what you will be drinking before you do so. For more information, you can head on over to avera.org.
So we just got to look, we got to take control of ourselves. I just want to look at these pictures. I mean, just imagine the amount of sugar. Look at that can of Coke, guys. See the Red Bull? That's actually how much sugar we're putting in our bodies. And people that do Red Bull, every time they get down, they get a pickup. You wonder why. Why do you get a pickup from Red Bull? Because that sugar spikes. And all of a sudden you're able to go a few more hours. You're able to stay up and finish your studying for the exam. And then all of a sudden you're going to crash. When we look at this whole chart and we see how it escalates based on from water, which is 0, to even the Diet Coke. Even the Diet Coke has sugar. Oh my God, Red Bull, all of this, look at this. Even some of the Powerade, oh my good, Sprite. I don't do the dark sodas, I just do the clear sodas. I want you to look at this. We're supposed to have, women, 6 teaspoons per day. That's it. 6 teaspoons per day. Okay, well, how do I know how many teaspoons is in this thing? Well, this particular chart says 5 grams equals 1 teaspoon. Last week we learned from Rochelle, she said 4 grams equals 1 teaspoon. So here they give you 1 more gram. Here they give you 1 more gram that equals a teaspoon. So just imagine now, if we go with this formula, it's still bad, even though they gave you 1 more teaspoon. And the more colors it is, notice this, that we come from the Coke in the middle with 35 grams. Somebody do the math. 35 divided by 5. Did you learn that, how to multiply? Yeah, that's 7 teaspoons. I dare you to go and look in your closet, look in your pantry, look in your refrigerator, and see what you have, and pull out a glass, and take, like Rochelle showed us on 2 weeks ago, start spooning the sugar in there, and then drink it. Put the sugar in the glass, find out how much sugar it is, and see if you would just turn that sugar up to your mouth. If you wouldn't do that, then don't drink that thing. Don't drink that particular item. I don't care if it's even a sports item. I don't care if it's a smoothie that you bought at Smoothie King or some other place. I don't care where it is. I challenge you to go on and divide that by 5 or divide it by 4, either way you want to do, and put the sugar in a glass separately. And if you would turn it up and drink it, just the sugar by itself, because that's what you're doing, then go right ahead. Because you don't mind committing suicide.
Quality sleep. You got to get quality sleep if you want to get over cravings. The reason why that's important is because several studies have shown when you get less than 8 hours of sleep, it's shown to increase hunger hormones. All right. Now, the reason why that's important is because the more hunger hormones you have, and then you also have the cravings, they're just going to be extremely loud. All right. So getting quality sleep is very important too, to keep those hormones balanced. All right. When we're talking about hunger versus, cessation, or like you feeling satiated. Okay. So quality sleep is going to help in that journey too. So the next 10 days, 8 hours of sleep. All right. So no staying up on the phone, on Tinder, or whatever, Bumblebee, or whatever it may be, or, strolling through, or YouTube, or whatever. Get off YouTube when it's time to get off YouTube. All right.
Yep, my God. Somebody ought to say out. I have to say out right there, because see, sleep has a process. Sleep has stages. Stage 1, you get that light sleep, slow eye movements, drowsiness, and that's the transition from wakefulness to sleep. Then stage 2, many of us don't get through these stages without getting up, right? Deeper sleep with reduced eye movement. Stage 3, that's the deepest sleep. That's the slow wave sleep. All of these are important, and these cycles take place on every level of sleep. Stage 4, it's even deeper. And then stage 5 is that REM. That's where we want to get to, that REM, where you have that deep dream stage with rapid eye movement, increased brain activity. And so this helps you even in your cognition when you wake up in the morning, because you've gotten quality sleep. But some people never get quality sleep. I hear it all the time. Some people say, I never slept good since the day I've been born. I've never had a good sleep. I guess you slept good when you were a baby, and that was it. But why is it? There's so many reasons. And when I was going through this, I said, okay, I'm going to do a whole session on sleep. I already knew it, because there was much more information that I couldn't talk about here, because it would cause me to deviate from where I was going. But I did want you to see that some people never get sleep because maybe they have unaddressed stress or anxiety. They've got a disrupted circadian rhythm. They've got sleep disorders, often undiagnosed. Maybe it's the medication or substance use. Maybe it's a childhood conditioning or trauma that you haven't gotten over. Maybe it's a nutrient deficiency. Maybe it's you just misunderstand what sleep should even feel like. Or maybe it's poor sleeping habits that have become just a lifestyle. That's just the way it is, because I don't get good sleep.
Get rid of parasites. All right. Parasites are controlling your taste buds. The same way when we see them in like movies like the aliens, and the parasite gets inside of the human and takes control of them, well, they do the same thing inside of us as well too. All right. So it's going to be hugely important to get rid of parasites. Is you got to get rid of yeast. You got to get rid of yeast. And the reason why that's so important is because fermentation is carried out by yeast, okay? And it does that by acting on sugar, which means that if you already got yeast in your body and then you put sugar in it, all you're doing is feeding, first of all, you're feeding the yeast, which means you're feeding fermentation. Okay, and the more you feed fermentation process creates alcohol in the body and CO2. All right, so this is why people can eat a whole bunch of sugar and then all of a sudden they feel drunk, like they want to pass out. All right, so it's just hugely important to get rid of the yeast, to get rid of the parasites, but it's also important not to feed them. And one of the primary ways you feed them is with junk food and sugar.
Junk food and sugar. Parasites. Some of us don't even know we got parasites going on in our body. And that's why it's important to get rid of the parasites. I know this is gross. I'll only leave it up here for a second. But you got to get rid of the parasites. And the way you get rid of the parasites is you do a detox. But sometimes we're still hindered. We got emotional, habitual eating. Sugar is tied to our emotions, our comfort, our celebration, our stress. That's why whenever they have parties, what do they have? Cake, cookies, pies. So find non-food ways to reward yourself. Reward yourself. Walk. Take a walk. Take a bath. Go on a trip. Play some music. Journal the triggers. Awareness is key, guys.
Important to know that when you see cravings, which is a physical craving, there's also an issue underlining that, which could be emotional, could be spiritual, that is a little bit deeper than the layer of having a sweet tooth. And I always tell people who have a sweet tooth or who have a problem with always craving sweets, on a spiritual level, it could be that you're trying to put sweetness in your life because there's bitterness somewhere. So I would highly urge you to do the spiritual work and do the work around resolving some of those unresolved traumas that could be pushing you in the direction of wanting all of these sweet things in life. And sweet things aren't just sugar. Sweet things aren't just candy. Sweet things could be shopping too much. Sweet things could be overindulging in sex. So it's important to know that sometimes there's an undertone. There's an undertone that is in the emotional body and the spiritual body, could be causing a physical manifestation that in your behavior that leads to a physical manifestation of disease. So also look at that, because we're always trying to check this holistic picture and holistic approach around how do we heal our bodies, okay?
That's what we want to do. We want to heal our bodies. So we got to start with that detox, because we got to detox this sugar. Detoxing sugar from the body could be one of the most powerful things that you're going to do. One of the best decisions you can ever do for your energy, for your mood, for your metabolism, for your long-term health. I want you to think about the people in your life that have passed away, people that are in your life that are sick now, and think about how much sugar have they had in their diet. How many of these sweet things that we've talked about, how many Cokes or drinks or energy drinks or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, is not just about cutting the sweets, it's about breaking a chemical, emotional, and behavioral cycle that's holding the body back. So why should we detox sugar? So we can regain control. Some of you are not even ready to say that you're an addict, but we got to regain control, because sugar hijacks the brain's reward system. That dopamine I talked about earlier, making you crave. Detoxing resets those signals so you stop feeling controlled by sugar. If you've ever gone on a detox, you know that you are different from the time you go on the detox and the time you come off the detox. If you don't know what a detox is, then get with the person that invited you here, that told you to take a look at this, that sent the video to you, that's got you on Facebook, whatever it is, find out from them. Then it reduces the inflammation in your body. Some of you got pain because of inflammation. You say it's something else, but it's inflammation. That's the root cause. When things are taking place on the nerves of your body, in the backs of your body, in the legs of your body, in the arthritis of your body, we're talking about sugar on the brain, that's dementia. Sugar on the eyes, that's glaucoma. Sugar in the pancreas, that's diabetes. And we're going to talk about diabetes coming up soon. We're almost finished with this series of sugar directly, but we're definitely going to start getting into diabetes, because too many of our people are classified as diabetics. And detoxing reduces that inflammation, the joint pain, the headaches. I don't care, everything they diagnose. It improves your energy levels, because sugar causes blood spikes and crashes. And that leads to mood swings and fatigue and brain fog. Sometimes people are depressed and they really have too much sugar. Once they get off the sugar, boom, they're not depressed anymore, even though there may be a depressing event in their lives. But detoxing ends our blood sugar and leads to steady, lasting energy. It resets the taste buds. It supports the weight loss without starving yourself. It balances your hormones. We're seeing people that get off sugar or even just reduce their sugar and no more hot flashes. Oh my God. They got you trying this and trying that to get rid of the hot flashes, and you're just accepting that you got to have them because you're going through the time in your life. Sharpens your focus and your mental clarity. It strengthens your immune system. So I'm going to tell you again, find out about the bitters. Because when you go on a sugar detox, it is not about suffering. It is not about being strict. It's a reset to break the cycle, to be able to listen to your body again, because God made this body to heal itself. Your body will tell you what it needs or what it does not need, if it's in a healthy place. And so now you can build a new relationship with food and with energy. Again, listen, I hope that this has been helpful. I want you to go to the YouTube page. Please hit subscribe, and you'll see more information of every different teaching that we've done on every different topic. And we're going to do more and more, because we're on a roll and we get to going and we don't know when to stop. So have a great day, everybody.